Go.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. It's great to see you here. If you're not listening to me live and you're listening to this video maybe 50 years from now, the conversation we're about to have will impact you and the people and the rest of around you. At least that's our commitment. So thank you for being here. I'm so excited that you're here. Good morning and welcome to IMPACT, the Leadership Huddle. This is your space to do nothing more, nothing less than bring to the space and take away from the space a unique leadership perspective on everyday problems and everyday challenges. Because you are an everyday entrepreneur, CEO, founder, business owner, or corporate executive. This is your space to confront the challenges that face you and walk away with a unique perspective to address them. And today we're going to go straight into that. 3 beliefs that you and I, that you must unlearn to go to the next level. So to begin the reflection, think for a moment. What's the belief that helped you succeed, but now quietly keeps you stuck? And I'm reminded of a story I was told. Albert Einstein, teaching in Princeton on a semester, he took out an exam and handed it to the students, and his assistant looked at the exam and said, "Sir, this is the same exact exam you gave last year." And he goes, "Yeah, but the answers changed." You know, that one story illuminated for me, because when I'm a leader, when you're a leader worth following, your answers must evolve. You see, the deeper I grow as a leader, the deeper you grow as a leader, the more you begin to realize that what got you here won't take you where you want to go. What you believed once that made you effective can start to be your limit right now and limit your impact. So many of us, including myself, get stuck into being the same way, using the same strategies, going forward, leading with last year's answers in today's world. So I'm going to get a little personal and share with you 3 of my beliefs. Now, they're not the 3 beliefs you must unlearn. You get to find yours, right? So this is the conversation. I call this first belief being in grade school. My mother and father were really, really adamant that, son, the best thing you can do is get an education. No one can take that away from you. And I took that to mean learn as much as I can and get as smart as I can. I believed, I really, truly believed that the more I know and the smarter I was, the more successful I would be. And you know what? For the first few years of my life, in grade school, in high school, in college, in my first job, that strategy worked. I learned as much as I could. And I always prided myself in being the smartest. But you know, that didn't come from just winning. It came from what I got from my parents when I got good grades. The jealousy that I saw that others had because I had good grades. It's almost as if having good grades, learning a lot, and being the smartest for myself was the strategy that was going to carry me throughout my entire life. But you know what? I got to a point where that strategy failed. I could no longer learn fast enough or hard enough to outpace the people who were around me. That strategy failed. And guess what I kept doing? I kept on buying more books. I kept on going to more courses. I kept on doing everything I could to learn faster, learn more, and be smarter. And I kept banging my head against that wall until I said to myself, well, maybe there's another way. So for me, the strategy that worked in grade school, in high school, in college, in my first job, couldn't carry me when I started my business. It was like, if I spent as much time learning and growing myself, I couldn't spend time learning about how to run the business. It was impossible. So that's my first belief. The second one, I'm a little not so proud of that one because of the way the world goes today. Imagine back in the 90s, the first BlackBerry pager came out. That pager gave me, as an engineer, as someone working as a professional in my third job, the opportunity to be someone who could respond to any message almost immediately. So my first belief was that knowing everything, being the smartest one would carry me everywhere. Well, here's the second one. The second one is if I can respond to any problem, to any request faster than anyone, then I win. Well, guess what? That's what I spent my years and my time doing. And at first it worked. So these beliefs I'm talking about, it's not that they're bad. It's not that they're wrong. It's that they worked once. They worked for a time. And yet I kept on moving forward as if they're going to work all the time. That's not the case. So picture this. I'm driving down 285. Back, I still lived in Atlanta back then. And I got my first BlackBerry pager. And I'm driving. It's sitting on the console next to me. And it buzzes. It beeps. I looked over. Guess what I'm looking over? I'm not looking over at one of those fancy screens. I'm looking over a little tiny screen that's about that big. And the letters on it are monochrome. It was yellow letters on a brown background. And here I am, doing 80, picking up my BlackBerry to look at that message. And I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist the pull to actually put my knees on the steering wheel to keep the car steady and then hold the BlackBerry in my hand. I'm typing with 2 thumbs while driving. Why? Because I believed that being responsive, responding right now was the way to go and what was going to get me to win. Now, am I proud that I did that? In hindsight, maybe not. But in that moment, guess what? That was my world. And the beliefs we hold dear because they help us succeed. Make us proud in that moment. They leave us thinking, this is the way to go. And yet, that's not the case. So for a time, until everybody else started doing the same thing, I was winning. But you know what? It got exhausting. Sometimes it got downright dangerous. And no one really cared that who I was for myself was someone who intended to respond to every message I received within the next 2 minutes. Belief number 2 left me as someone who could deliver a response to a message. But guess what? I spent my entire days doing just that. Distracted, exhausted, believing that responding the fastest was going to get me the farthest, but it never did. It just left me tired and left me known as someone who will respond immediately. So people text me on my BlackBerry at 11:30 p.m. It buzzes. I wake up from my slumber and respond. What kind of life is that? Now, I'm not knocking down text messages. I'm not knocking down going to school and learning. I'm just pointing to what I believed that made me successful at one point, but didn't work at another point. And yet I continued to believe the same thing. So it's not about learning more. Perhaps it is about unlearning the beliefs I have that made me successful so I can adopt something new and create a new world. So I'm going to share the third one with you. And then I'll offer some questions for you to reflect and ask you if you could share with us the one or the two beliefs that made you successful. And now you realize they're the very thing that are limiting you. So here's the third one for me. The third one for me is about hard work. I once said to a friend, well, he's no longer a friend because at that time I was not having it. We were competing in a way. And I looked at him dead in the eyes. And I said to him, you know what, John? You can do whatever the heck you want. I know one thing. When push comes to shove, there's going to be one man standing. And it's going to be the man who can work the longest and the hardest. And that man will be me. He looked at me, shook his head, walked away. We continued to speak, but the relationship we had was never the same because I was dead set on continuing to live a life where working hard was what gave me satisfaction, what gave me success. And you know what? For a time, it worked. I got my computer. I have my BlackBerry. I have my hardworking. I have my knowledge. So all I need to do is work hard and I'll succeed. Guess what? Working hard turned me into a hermit. I mean, if I'm working hard all the time and responding to messages all the time and accumulating new knowledge all the time, so I can be the smartest, so I can be the most responsive, so I can be the hardest worker, which worked, I will never, ever have the opportunity to actually build the relationships I need to build when I need to create something that takes more than my own effort. So all the strategies I learned in grade school, all the strategies that worked in high school, my being responsive as an engineer, responding to messages at all hours of the night, that worked. It made me the popular person who could solve a problem while everybody else is sleeping. That worked. But you know what? It all left me isolated in a way. It all left me without the relationships that could open doors to create something different. And it left me exhausted. So beliefs, strategies are great. We learn them, they support us, they help us win. That's great. And we must unlearn them because at some point in time, they stop working. And the way our brain, the way we work is that, if it's not working today, it must be because I'm not working hard enough. That's where I go. And today, you have the opportunity to examine your own and take a moment to begin to create for yourself the strategies that would have you unlearn them. So it's your turn now. I won't ask you to share I won't coach you, but I'll invite you to be with these questions. Okay? Take a look. Listen closely. What belief helped you survive, but now blocks your growth? Second question. Were you still using last year's answers in a world that's changed? And I'll give you another one, and then I'll open it up. I'd love to hear from you. Just tell me your beliefs that you see are limiting you now. Here's the third question. What would you have to mourn? And, like mourn something, like something you let go in order to evolve. For me, I had to mourn being smart, learning a lot. I had to let go being responsive at all times. And I certainly had to let go, and where that one sticks. I certainly had to let go and continue to let go, working hard. What about you? I want to hear from you. Go off mute and let's have this conversation. So, what belief do you have? Shiva, good morning. How are you today? You on mute.
Oh, hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Um, this is so perfect. I'm so glad that I got on. I had two primary ones that came to my mind, and one of them are being nice, like being
Mm,
nice, accommodating, not too pushy, have all the, the typical collaborative, you know, feminine traits that tend to be like associated with like feminine. Um, and it has worked up into a certain point because it has allowed me to relate to people
mhm,
and kind of move through conflict pretty rapidly.
mhm,
But it really stops me because when it comes to getting things done or having um, to have to like shut things off, I experienced it even recently. I was talking to someone and he was being actually just kind of rude. And I was like, oh, I want to listen. I don't want to be rude to him. Meanwhile, he's being rude to me. Right. And I had to just pause. And I was just like, wait, this doesn't work. So I got off the phone. And then, he follows up with a series of messages. And I just saw like the nice girl. And I had a mentor who supported me to just block him.
mhm.
But that was, yeah.
So, so if you were to state that belief in one phrase, like mine is being the smartest will get me.
I would
That's
say
what.
being the nice girl, I see, I think will make me like keep me safe, make me loud. Something in the world of safe
Something in that
and
word, but you get
likable.
it, right?
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. What about you, Mary Pat?
Yeah, I'm very much where Alicia is in the accommodation piece and the kindness piece. And it's it does work. It does make for a world that's workable and it doesn't get to the core of life. And when I say that, I'm dealing with family things right now. And that
Mm,
kindness and that niceness is a great space. And there are things that have to be dealt with. And
yeah.
so it stops me sometimes from, I'm going to say, being authentic about something, being able to say it the way it is, because I feel like, oh, that's so hurtful. But but it's really one of the things that I've done this past year is I've been reading the book Tribal Leadership and getting the whole context of we, the community, like
Mm,
really powerfully, like you, me, everyone that is in my space is the community, and a we phenomena very different from a me phenomena, like what's
Yeah.
good for me. So, and that's challenging. And there's a lot to give up, like being right about something, you know?
And when you look, you know, whether on the surface, when you look in general, how would you state the belief that got you here, but now won't get you where you want to go? What's that belief?
The belief that being nice and being kind and accommodating actually draws people in to a space where you can work with them.
I got
And,
that.
and,
I got
and in
that.
my business, I did the same thing, and it
Yep.
worked. It worked great. And then it didn't work when things weren't working in the business, to be able to go to someone authentically and speak. So
Yeah.
growing and developing self for me is the key.
I got that. And today, all we're doing is looking at,
Mhm.
at those beliefs. Yeah.
Right. And
The
they're very,
creative
yeah, it's very
ways.
challenging and very challenging. There's a lot to give up.
Yeah.
So
The
thank you.
created ways for us to be that word. And my tendency, you know, I can't tell you. I wake up and hard work is right there, not as something I'm afraid of, but as
Right.
something I'm looking forward to and relish, and talk to other people about it. And yet it gets me nowhere.
Hmm.
When you get to that point where you cross the threshold of having a company that's just you, and you're now running a company that's 40 people, hard work no longer works.
No, it drives people away is what it does.
Absolutely, because guess what? People end up mimicking you as the leader. So they're all working hard, and it doesn't matter if they're working and pulling in the same direction. Because guess what? So long as they're working hard, it's all
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Laura,
Thank you. Great conversation.
good morning, Laura.
Grand Rising. Today's your new program in the huddle. Is today
Today
the start?
is the second instance of the IMPACT Leadership Huddle.
Gosh. Okay, thank you so much. Happy to be here. Thank you.
Well, welcome to IMPACT.
Yes, hard work. I that's why I'm here today. I didn't decide to go jump out and do some hard work this morning. So I choose
Are you
to,
telling me hard work is your belief too? I better
of
work.
course,
I
of
have to work
course.
hard.
Yes, yes, definitely. And now that I am retired, it's so hard to switch from not doing the hard work because it's so ingrained that I'm having issues letting go of just doing everything the hard way.
I got it. I got it.
Yes, yes.
So,
So,
Laura, everyone, Shiva, Mary Pat, guess what? Take a deep breath. Let your shoulders drop. This is not about being wrong. It's about being ready. You know, while a belief, a way of being that got me here won't get me there, making it or making myself wrong or beating myself up for having been that way is more of the same. So drop your shoulders, relax, and let it go. I'm going to leave you with two things. And those two things will give you the opportunity to assess for yourself what those beliefs are and then practice shifting. So here's the first thing. Grab a pen and a notepad and take 10 minutes today. And during those 10 minutes, all you need to do is write down your, not your answer, but use this prompt to write what I believe about leadership is. Fill in the blanks. Just write. Don't filter anything. Just list your beliefs about leadership. All right? That's the first thing. And then after you do that, look at the list and ask yourself, which of these beliefs helped me succeed? And look and celebrate that. And then look again and ask yourself this next question. Which ones are now holding me back? Not to beat yourself up, not to make the belief wrong, but to actually see. Yes, being responsive, being the person who responded to every text message after 11:30 p.m. helped and held me up once. But you know, it no longer serves me. And I can let that go. Working my fingers to the bone and knowing that hard work was going to have me be the last man standing worked when it did. And now I can see it's time to let it go. So that's the first exercise. Create for yourself a little belief audit. Your prompt is, what I believe about leadership is, look, list, don't make it wrong, and look at the beliefs that help you succeed. Celebrate them. Look at the ones that are holding you back. Let them go. And here's the second one, okay? Second practice. Give yourself 24 hours. If you're like me, someone who's going to jump. Laura, you mentioned, you get up, you're real retired, and yet hard work is still calling you forth. Pause for 24 hours. And when the urge to work hard, the urge to be nice, the urge to be in the same way you've been all the time, stop and pause and do nothing. 24 hours. It's just a day, not long. That doesn't include sleep time, by the way. So for 24 hours, practice seeing the beliefs that hold you back. Practice being with the impulse that pulls you forward to continue to be the same way, and pause and deliberately stop. So folks, this is it. And I cannot stop this program without saying a good morning to Keith Ivey. My God, Keith, I haven't seen you in ages.
It's good to see you again. I'm glad to see that we're still getting our hair cut at the same place.
I know. So you're going to have to stay back a little bit so we can chat, okay?
No.
It's 9:29. I'm going to wrap up this morning, and I'll wrap it up this way. The exam's always the same. It is life. But the answers change every day. But guess what? The answers don't change because they change automatically. They change because you choose to change them. The old answers will always be there. They'll come from what has served you forever. The new answers come when you choose to see the beliefs that are limiting you and you choose a new answer. Why? Because you can. Choose today. This is the Impact Leadership Huddle, where you come, where others come, and where I come for a unique perspective on leadership, a unique leadership perspective on everyday challenges for everyday entrepreneurs, business owners, CEOs, and corporate executives. Go forth, make it a great day, and keep being